Hi, Kev. Great to see you.
Good to have you on the show. Well, Andy Burnham, I think we now have a hint of the tenor of the man. This time, a week ago, it was revealed that the scumbags who killed poor PC Andrew Harper were to be released from jail in the early release scheme after only 6 years inside. Now, this caused great anguish on the part of Andrew's widow and his mother, and public fury across the land. King Andy listened to this. He listened to the anguish of Andrew's grieving loved ones, and he listened to the fury of the people, and he said, I'll tell you what, I've listened. I'm putting the early prison release scheme on hold. Furthermore, this will keep these two scumbags in jail. Let's remind ourselves of that moment. Here's Andy promising us that he's going to be...
I feel for the family it's an appalling crime that was committed. The main perpetrator will not be subject to any early release. Of course, others involved have potentially been identified, but I've spoken to the new Justice Secretary. We will review the policy together and make further statements in due course.
Well, here we are, Philip, 1 week on. He's reviewed the policy and it's back in action. He's unpaused the prison release scheme, and the two scumbags who killed poor Andrew Harper, the brave copper who was dragged along behind their car on a tow rope for more than a mile, depriving him of his life and indeed his skin. When witnesses found him, they thought he was a skinned deer. That's how bad this poor guy's death was. Anyway, 1 week on, Andy has reviewed the policy. Those scumbags are now coming out. So will thousands more very dangerous prisoners. So that's Andy Burnham for you. He bought himself a week of positive headlines, and now he's just said, right, OK, well, we're back to that scheme that you don't like. That causes such anguish for PC Harper's relatives. And do you think he'd worry about this? I doubt it. He's just gone on holiday for a fortnight. You couldn't make this stuff up, could you?
It's revolting, isn't it? It really is revolting. And looking at that footage, he looked like he was lying. His body language, he was so hesitant. He really did look like he wasn't telling the truth. I mean, this poor lad, PC Harper, was, what, 28 years old, Kev? And he was flayed alive, essentially.
Yes.
His mother says that this is a slap in the face for justice. His wife, obviously, is reliving the hell that she went through 6 years ago. And we are in a position, as you say, these two little scumbags are coming out after serving 50% of their sentence. But we're in a position where other kinds of crimes, lower level kinds of crimes, people are coming out after a third of their sentence. In other kinds of crime, people are coming out after 40% of their sentence. So, you know, where's the deterrent here for these kinds of people not to kill people, not to commit crimes? Now, OK, there is the sense with justice. It is about punishment and mercy, and there should be an incentive for people to kind of rehabilitate and behave themselves while they're behind bars. But there's no incentive here. This is just nonsense. This is, as his mum said, a slap in the face for decency. And the reason, let's just focus on the reason. This isn't some high-meaning, highfalutin philosophical thing about justice and mercy, as I've just said. This is just the fact that the system is going to collapse if they don't let all of these people out. Now, as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, well, hang on, what about all the foreign criminals that are in the system here? Can we not just deport those and maybe start with that? You know, it's about common sense. It's about common decency. And it's about not forcing these poor people, the families of the victims, to revisit and relive the horror of this stuff day after day. It's condemning them to misery, and it's just revolting.
Yeah, and we do not want to see this Prime Minister playing media games again. All he did was take the heat off himself and say, oh, we're going to review this policy. I think he probably knew full well that nothing was going to change, as you say. As things stand, because they haven't done anything about building new prisons, even temporary prisons, the government has no choice but to keep letting these people out. 6,000 will now be released in September. Murderers, killers, manslaughterers, drug dealers, violent people, sex criminals. Well, they were going to be letting out sex criminals.
Yeah, it's not sex criminals.
The Prime Minister has thrown us a bone by writing a mealy-mouthed piece in the Telegraph saying, well, I'm going to keep sex criminals in. Oh, great. Well done, Andy. What do you make of the fact that this guy has just wafted off on holiday today for 2 weeks? Now, you know, I think it's not fair to say politicians can't have holidays. Of course they should have holidays. The Prime Minister always deserves a break because whatever you think of them, they do have to work very hard. Now, but this guy, it's only 14 days he's been in office. 14 days. You might have thought that he would have at least calculated this isn't going to look good and, frankly, cancelled this holiday. And I think the fact he's gone off while we've got this crisis going on, the migrant crisis has just exploded. 157 people had to be rescued today off a mega boat when it burst into flames. More than 2,000 migrants have come across since he waltzed into number 10. Massive crisis there. He's got crises coming at him from all angles. And what's his response? I think I'll go abroad on a sunshine holiday for a fortnight. That's just wrong.
Well, it's just wrong, but it's typical. It's absolutely typical of the public sector. And now we've got Louise Haigh in charge, the convicted fraudster. You know, so, things are really going good here, aren't they? At least the Burnham bounce has done one. Now that doesn't exist anymore because they're trailing reform in the polls. But let's just come back to the real horribleness of this, because if these little scumbags had been convicted now, they would have mandatory life sentences because of Harper's law. They are being released, or they probably will be released halfway through. He's okay for that to happen, despite having said that it wasn't going to happen. And he just goes away on his jollies. He's forgetting it all, and he's leaving it in the hands of Louise Haigh. This is revolting. I suppose this is the way it's going to go. And I think what we're going to get is U-turn after U-turn. Not only that, we're going to get outright lies. This is just going to be about spin. This is good old Labour spin. This is kind of Blairism at its worst. And then when the heat happens, when he's done two weeks of work, for God's sake, Kev. Oh, God. Then he's going to go away.
It's been exhausting, Philip. It's been exhausting. It's a well-deserved break. Perhaps he's going to do that throughout his premiership, like an oil rig worker. He'll do 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. But
no, do you know what it's going to be? I know what it's going to be, right? He's going to say, "Oh my God, I'm suffering from anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
I need time off. That's what it's going to be.
And he'll get it for that reason. Never mind about him suffering from anxiety to depression. What about all the people who have to live under his leadership? We're all getting anxiety and depression. As you say, a new poll, YouGov poll, reveals that Reform have bounced right back above Labour again. So the Burnham bounce is already fading. And after this debacle and the migrant crisis, it deserves to flayed. But I suppose it does show that leniency towards criminals can result in remarkable feats of rehabilitation. We now have a convicted criminal running the country, Louise Haig. She's a convicted fraudster and she's the #1 politician running the country, while Andy Burnham is resting after 2 exhausting weeks. This Labour government are already a disaster.